We are idols. We are idols. With the voices. We are idols.
Hello, hello, hello.
Yes, nice. Going. Nice. All right. So you auditioned.
We did it. How's it going?
It's good. It's great. We're here. We're doing music as a lifetime thing, as a career, and it all started with American Idol, right?
It did, yeah.
Wait, would you say that, or were you doing music
Well,
before me?
the first thing. Well, actually, no, it didn't start. It ended. No, but I started with when I left Berkeley in Boston, and I came to LA, and my train of thought was like, I just want to make money playing music. Whatever it is. So when I first came out, I was doing some gigs. I was teaching ukulele lessons at a preschool also for like $15 an hour. And I remember like going to auditions and like having dreams, like being nervous that I was going to like let down this thing, and I would teach like, 2 lessons a day. So I probably could have panhandled and made more money, but I was like, I'm going to do music. But I started just doing casting stuff, and I actually started with The Voice.
Oh, before Idol. Okay.
Yeah.
What year was that?
Season 2 of The Voice. This is probably 2011.
Yeah. Okay. Because I did American Idol in 2011. I think The Voice had just started.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was the first season just ended, and I went in and I got it because when I first came to LA, I did like an album, out of Boston with my band, and I met this they're like, oh, we're gonna introduce you to this AR guy. I'm like, oh, I should get to meet an AR person. The kid was younger than me,
Oh, no.
and I was like, what? And the guy was like, hey man, like you're good, you can sing, you can play, but like every song is a different genre. Like you gotta like pick a lane. And me think, and then I ended up. I think I was dropping off a CD a couple months later to a CD. Hear that, kids?
What are those things?
Yeah, and I was dropping it off to an entertainment lawyer. And he actually happened to be having dinner with this kid. And I was like, I remembered him, and I was just stopping by. I didn't want to interrupt their meal. And he was like, oh, hey, man, I'm casting for The Voice. You should go try out. And I was like, okay, cool. And he's like, but hey, you're from the Bay Area, right? I was like, yeah, from San Francisco. And he's like, go audition in San Francisco. And I was like, why? And he's like, well, because there's a lot of talented people in Nashville and in LA and New York. So he's like, if you go to the Bay Area, you're going to have a better chance to stand out. And he was right, because when I went in, the people before, there's talented people there, sure, but there's a lot of people that, just didn't play for a living. And so when I got into there, I lived in the hotels. They gave me a Nickelback song, and I went on TV for 30 seconds, and they said no. But I learned a lot. And it was a lot of fun, and I think it can be soul crushing, when you get like sent home, or even if you're there the whole time and then you don't get picked or whatever it is. But it didn't break me. And then after that, just casting people started calling me for other stuff, and so anything that was music related, if it was a dating show, if it was whatever it was, if I could do something with guitar, singing, I would just do it. And so the next thing I got, and this kind of like showed me how I could monetize, because 2012, the 2010s, like reality TV show was big, and of course I would love to do like a real movie, but if you don't have an agent, whatever, you're just trying to get
acting as well as music.
But really, if it was like, if acting can help with my music, I could get in there, because that's what I want to play music and play. And I think, and being an actor is really cool, but you truly are a vessel. When you're a creator, you get to, a band leader, you get to do what you want. But if you're an actor, you got to be like, hey, you're a bully, you're a nerd, you're a scary guy, you're a nice guy, and you got to just fit the profile. And it's the director that really is the creator. You're kind of, it's a different thing. And so I got on this, I think it was on Bravo, and it was called My Fair Wedding, where they like give out weddings to people, and they were going, hey, we need a wedding singer for it. And I was already a little jaded or like nervous about, like, I don't want to be on TV where they tell me no. They're like, no, we're gonna pick you, it's just like for the filming. And so I said, okay, cool. And on the show or whatever that they showed, it was they go, oh, this is Adam Lasher, and he plays high-end weddings in Beverly Hills. I'd never even been to Beverly Hills. And they're like, he plays high-end weddings in Beverly Hills, and he was on The Voice. Like, technically, I was on The Voice for 30 seconds. No one would remember it. And But then when that show came out, people in Orange County and LA were like, "Oh, I want him to play my wedding," and this is that wedding singer from The Voice. But you couldn't even find it anywhere on TV. But then I started wheels clicking, like, "Oh, you just say stuff on TV," and so then
It's like manifesting a little
yeah,
bit.
exactly. And then I actually worked in casting a little bit for like game shows, and then every once in a while they'd send me to AGT or something, or I would try it for AGT, and then so by the time Idol came around, I wasn't, when if you're not nervous about the job interview, sometimes you get it.
Yeah.
So I was able to be funny. I was able to not care and be nonchalant, and it worked, so that's how I ended up. And so by the time at least I got on Idol, I had a little bit of idea of how casting works. Like, it's like, okay, if you've got a mohawk and a flannel shirt on, and there's another guy with a mohawk and a flannel shirt on, like out of the 100 people or 200 people they're choosing, everyone's a friendly competitor. But, at the end of the day, they're going to have to choose, two girls look like Evanescence, eventually they're going to keep one and not the other.
Exactly,
so kind of, I started seeing it, from their point of view, and it became less scary and a little more like strategic.
That's funny because I felt that. I walked into the Idol auditions. I was actually scared. I was 19 years old. It was my first time doing anything like that. But I remember walking in and just being like, "Oh my gosh, this feels." I'm the only guy with a beard here. Like everyone else is like
good.
clean shaved. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also had my little melodica, my little piano flute. And I was playing that during, like everyone else had like a guitar, but I was the only one with a really weird instrument. And I remember one of the producers came up with a yellow sticker and put it on my forehead, and I wasn't sure what that meant, but I think that meant this guy should go through. Anyway, something like that. And it's funny, to your point about going to San Francisco. I was living in Idlewild, California. Closest place is LA, but I decided to try out in Texas, in Austin, Texas, just to see if, like if I didn't make it there, then I'd fly home and then try out in LA. And then
under a different alias.
No, the same alias, but I just figured it gives me two opportunities.
Yeah, sure.
I heard that Jordan Sparks had done that. She had tried out a couple times, a couple different places. But then so I made it in Austin, Texas. I think because there was less people trying out there, and there's a lot more people in LA that are
of course.
That it's just more what's the word, saturated, I guess, with a lot of people.
And the other thing, when I did my first audition for Idol, it was in New Orleans, and maybe if I hadn't done The Voice or worked behind the scenes on some other game shows and stuff, I would have been like, well, why am I going there? And if that happens to you, if you're trying out, like, use it to your advantage. I had just gotten back from, I think, playing for a couple of weeks in the Caribbean. I had a fun thing going on there in St. Bart's, but you use it to your advantage to go like, oh, what are you doing in New Orleans? You could say, if Ryan's interviewing you or something, oh, well, I just flew here to try. You say, oh no, I've been playing Bourbon Street. You just, make it seem like, oh, I'm on tour. I travel. I play music all the time. So I think I learned to, anytime.
Ham it up.
Yeah, I guess ham it up or if and a lot of times on shows too, they don't want you to be like, I'm wearing my friend's T-shirt. This is like my guitar brand. They don't want to hear any of that. And rightly so, because it's not about that. But if you say, my name's Jonathan and I'm the best locksmith in Nashville, people in Nashville are going to call you up to fix their door, right? So I kind of learned, even when I left Idol, when I did it, because I did it 2 seasons in a row.
Right.
They're like, well, what are you going to do now? And I was like, well, we're doing a tour with the high school graduates, where they keep all the kids in the gym after high school so they don't like crash and blow up and drown.
Okay.
It's like keeping the scene. They have the senior grad night. I don't know if they did that.
For Idol, yeah.
No, just in high school in general. Like if you graduate high school, I don't know, my high school, or I guess in NorCal they would have a big party for seniors, but it would be on the campus and they don't want you to leave, so you don't drink and drive and you don't do something stupid.
Okay.
So I would just say, we're doing a grad night tour and we're going to be doing that, which wasn't,
nice.
I hadn't booked anything. It wasn't true. I just said it. But then you say it and then people, oh, can you do my high school? Can you do our high school? So I just try to get those little,
gotta take advantage of it.
So anything, oh, I do weddings in Beverly Hills. We're doing a grad night. You just
And now you
You
do
know?
it. And now
Yeah.
you do it. Yeah, you got to talk it into existence.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, I brought my upright bass on the show, and
Mm-hmm.
now people are like hiring me to like bow bass. That's like I'm not good at bowing.
Yeah.
But I'll
They
do
see
it.
it, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they see that you have an upright bass, and maybe they think it's a cello.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just got to manifest that and make it. It's the same thing. The show producers were like, this isn't a singing competition. This is a TV show. We're
Yeah.
casting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like that stuck with me. And it's like you just have to stand out, and you have to fake it till you make it. That's
Yeah.
kind of what it is.
And it's part of it too. I mean, you still have to be talented, and I think when I came in, because I think you did it much earlier than me. So when I went in, there was a lot of musicians and entertainers. Like everyone was paranoid, like, oh, they're gonna steal your soul and like steal your contract and blah 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 blah. And it's like, no, they were pretty cool. They were really nice. And it's like, man, you're getting free airtime, and
Yes.
even friends would go like, oh man, like why are you like trying out for those shows? And it's like, free airtime.
Yeah.
Like what does Advil or Thailand will pay to be on ABC or Fox on a Thursday night for 2 minutes? That's airtime. That's worth a lot.
We're
So
on it a
even if you're like,
lot,
oh,
yeah.
well, how much are they paying you? Or they're not paying you. You're doing it for free. Whatever it is, it's like, man, you're getting an opportunity. You're getting perks. And even if you go on it and nothing happens, you don't get a team. You lived in the hotels. Well, now like 2 or 3 talented people in every state. A bunch of
Yes.
casting people. There's been times where, I got a gig in Miami and there's a budget and it's like, oh, I don't know if I could do. Oh, I know a drummer. Or my friend that I was a roommate with in Tennessee, he can sing and what. So, you have all the tools in front of you.
Wow.
You're getting put into this work, like meeting whoever, networking.
It's you're taking advantage of the system. That's really
Yeah.
good. You stay very positive. So that means I always was a little bit scared of being attached with, like, right after American Idol, they would do like, hey, it's Casey Abrams from American Idol.
Yeah.
And I'd be a little bit angry about that. But the more that time went on, the more I did more things. I was a part of Postmodern Jukebox. I was a part of Scary Park. I was a part of these things. And then people were like, hey, I know your song. And so it's like, it doesn't matter if they call you that guy. It's like, at least you're a guy associated with something.
Exactly.
And so I feel like you, even after American Idol, it seems like you're a very positive person.
I try.
That never bothered you though, right? The being
No,
attached to
it's
American
funny.
Idol.
I actually, one of the reasons I wanted to do Idol is because it was like, oh, it's Carlos Santana's nephew, which is not a bad thing. I'm very happy with my life. I love my uncle. My
That's
family.
good. Yeah, you should
Awesome.
live that up. I'm glad
But I
you
was
do
like,
that.
I wanted to get more things under my belt, because it's like if you're like, oh, I'm just the guy from the mustard commercial or whatever it is, it's like, well, the more things you get, I think you feel less insecure about that one thing you've done that you're called. And it is a thing to think about with an artist, because there's a certain way you want to present yourself. Like, I don't know if you ever get not annoyed, but you don't want to come off in a bad, like, I don't ever want to come off on like I'm using someone else's name,
Right.
so I usually don't mention it because everyone else already does. But if they go, hey, well, how do you want us to talk about this and that? And I say, if there's going to be a pamphlet or if it's on the website, put it in there with the info. Just don't be like, Santana's nephew and he was on Idol twice, like on stage now, like a monster truck shit. Because then it's like, I always tell, I'm not the Santana ambassador,
Right, for sure.
So, and same thing with Idol too. So I think in the long run, it's good to get things under your belt, and it's good to be proud of it, and it's also good to be humble and not,
It's a balance, yeah.
the balance. I've I've seen John Mayer live. I don't know if you've ever seen him, but twice I've seen where he's about to play Bubble Toes, or his first hit song, like your bubblegum toes, like that song. It's like his
believe
first
that's a song. That's
Wonderland.
awesome.
Your body's
I
a
will-
wonderland.
Okay.
But every time before he sings it, and John Mayer's the greatest. Like, I love him. I don't care what people say. I think he's great. And but every time he does that song as his first hit, and he probably thinks he's young, he always gives this like explanation of he used to feel nervous about it, but now he's embraced it. And I think as artists, we can all have that feeling where, oh, am I latching onto this too much, or am I not like talking about it enough? And it's just about acceptance and
Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful. And now, so Santana, your uncle, when's the first time you played with him on stage?
Well, the first time I played with him with the guitar, I was 19. First time I played with him on stage, I was probably 6, and I hit my finger with a cowbell, and I started crying on stage. But he used to let the kids come up. I was like, dun, 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 dun. So I think I did it. But he always would let kids come up on stage. So, obviously for me, that's what I wanted to do. I think my earliest memories, in the early 90s, were seeing Carlos's shows and either Gypsy Kings or Rusted Root or whoever's opening up for him, and just being around that environment. And
Wow.
And my grandfather too, he was a mariachi violinist.
Oh,
Carlos's
wow.
brother was a guitar player. He was in Malo. They
I've
had
heard of that. Okay.
Suavecito, Sugar Ray's song like samples one of their songs every morning. They like sampled it, so a lot of people. Da, 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 da. But
That's
so
awesome.
for me, obviously Carlos was a big influence, but I think also a lot of the people in my family, they were either like small business owners or entrepreneurs or big business owners or musicians. So I was like, well, I'm gonna do my own thing, playing music. If my grandfather can support 7 kids with a violin, I should be able to sing and play guitar and take care of myself.
That is pretty awesome. Yeah. Did you ever play the violin?
No, I was gonna start, and then my grandfather passed away. And I think even at 6, I was like, had enough brain cells to go like, you know what, like this violin is like really important. I'm 6 years or 8 years old. I don't give me that thing.
Okay. Oh
I wanna
yeah,
put
yeah.
stickers on it, or not that they would have given me the violin.
Give me that beat up guitar.
But I did
over
want to
there.
start it, and it would be cool. But I think, I always wanted to play guitar. A lot of my youth was wanting to play guitar. My parents were like, here's the saxophone, here's the piano, and it's like,
It's good. I mean, I did
know.
the same thing. I ended up, I think I played the recorder. That got me into clarinet.
Oh, yeah.
Clarinet got me into piano. Piano got me into upright bass. And then now I just like to play all of them. I like to stick to the bass though.
Did you have a moment? I teach people sometimes, and I feel like children love music, teenagers love music, but I feel kind of around like junior high, there's like a musical identity that happens where sometimes when you're in 5th grade and younger, you just kind of like what your parents like, or maybe something from a movie or a game, but it's not really until you hit, junior high that you start having your own identity. So for you, was there ever a moment where you're like, oh, you stuck with the bass, or when did you start, truly liking your own music and finding it, as opposed to, oh, my parents like the Beatles, so I like them too?
Man, I mean, my mom loved the Beatles, the Beach Boys, and I loved that. But then I started to watch my own things, and it was like Eminem and Blink-182 and Jack Black, obviously, and some other stuff. But yeah, I really I stuck with the Beatles. I think the upright bass came into my life in like 6th or 7th grade, and I got an electric bass. And then
You played upright first?
I remember the reason I got into it. I had a piano teacher, and she also played the upright bass, and it was laying on the floor, and I just plucked it and went boom. I was like, whoa. Then I decided, is there a way that I could get a smaller version? I got an electric bass. Started learning AC/DC songs, and then when for those 3 years I was just playing electric bass. And then when I went to high school, Idlewild Arts, I started playing the upright bass because of my teacher, Marshall Hawkins. He's like, dude, that's cool, but that's not jazzy. You can do more things. And he showed me, like, you can bow, you can do this, you can do that. But I think it's funny because I think I knew I was going to be a bass player by the time I was in 5th grade. I was like, bass is so awesome. But slowly but surely, I became into a singer. Like I was a little bit shy. I wanted to be on stage in the spotlight, but behind maybe the main person. And then I did a talent show.
And then you sing better than the main person.
I don't want to. Maybe, yeah, a little bit.
He did. Sorry, little Billy.
Good old Billy.
Get out of here, Billy.
Yeah, he's. I don't know what he's doing now. He's still singing. So when I did it, I did a talent show, and then I also did a jazz concert, and I was going to use a theater major. But she couldn't do it because she was in the play, so I ended up singing "Why Don't You Do Right," the Jessica Rabbit song. I arranged the 4 horns, and it felt really cool. I was like, "This is kind of fun." And then, a couple years after that, I tried out for American Idol, and I didn't.
Oh wow! So you were 19 when you tried out?
Yeah. So I graduated high school. I went to college for a semester, and I ended up getting sick, and I dropped out. And I was like, I'm just gonna practice for Idol and see what happens. So like that whole semester after I dropped out, I was like, I just started practicing.
Good decision.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, thanks. And then I went up to Idlewild and started playing with my friends who were still at Idlewild Arts. One of them, Jacob Cesny. I don't know if you know who that is. He's a great saxophone player.
Name sounds familiar, but
yeah, and he plays with Enrique. And
okay.
A lot of the times, yeah.
Yes, we have the same drummer.
Yeah.
He's Enrique.
Yeah, I just saw him in a picture with you. So yeah, I love seeing Enrique.
Yeah,
and he went to
Enrique's a
Berkeley
great
with
guy.
you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we knew him. We had a lot of similar friends. We didn't hang out a bunch at Berkeley, but we had a lot of similar friends. And then think our first gig playing with him was at the 90, which is I guess the one bar on the USC campus, and we got a gig there, and so we jammed there, and the rest is history. Yeah,
It's beautiful. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. But yeah, back to your question. I think that I liked to do singing a little bit more, and I was like, let me try out. I didn't know if I was any good, and I just remember singing in a in a bathroom. There was like 3 other dudes were like, we're so excited to do this.
Oh, during
And-
the audition.
Yeah, during the audition. So like a couple of them were like, all right, let's just sing for each other. And so one guy sang and then another guy sang, and then we were like, this is fun. And then I remember singing, and I remember, not to brag or anything, but those guys, the guys looked at me and they were like, holy shit, dude, what are we
What am I doing here?
Yeah. You're like, you're good. I was like, oh, thanks, But then they saved me for the last, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be like a joke or not. Sometimes
Yeah.
they saved the person.
Yeah,
with
they were
the
still
angle.
doing that, but at least when I went, everything was very positive. They still,
Right.
I
I
think
miss
they,
it.
they
I
still
miss
had it a little bit, but Simon wasn't there when I went on it, so
Right.
it was
me neither. I
Uh-huh.
was the season right afterwards. But that was super cool. So you had, I remember, did you go 2 years in a row?
I did 2 years in a row.
Yeah, I
It was
remember-
Keith Urban and J Lo and Harry Connick Jr.
That was awesome. That's so
Yeah.
cool. Like what a grand marquee of judges. That was really cool.
Yeah.
And they liked you both times. So what happened the first time you went in there?
Yeah, so the first time I went in, and I got to thank my friend Kat. She was the casting producer and a friend she was the one who pretty much got me, all the stuff. Where it always go, do you want to try this, that, and I just always say yes. And the first audition I went into, somewhere on Sunset. It was like I didn't do like the cattle call.
Oh,
I've done them before. I know The Voice, or they did like SAR studios where they'd rent it
yeah.
out and stuff.
Okay.
But I went there and I did it. I had like a dobro, like the metal slide guitar, and
sweet.
And I was just kind of rugged. I didn't. It was just another thing or whatever. And I think because I was relaxed, I was able to do it, and they thought it was funny because I was cracking jokes. And then I think it went really well. They really liked it, and they're like, "Well, what do you want to do?" And I was like, "I want to put me in a tour bus. Like, let's do this. And, the show's cool, but like after the show, let's make money. Let's play. I just want to play." And but I think I told them at one point, because I played an original and they liked it, and they're like, "Well, what do you want to do?" And I said, I just want to do originals, and I don't want a roommate. So when you don't want to hear originals and don't want to give me my own room, just send me home. And they thought that was funny. And then I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't have said that, because when which I still would have done it, and I room with people was totally fine. It was cool. I just we're just saying things because you're
Yeah.
on the spot,
Right.
And ended up doing it the first went to New Orleans, did it. It went well, and when I went into New Orleans, the beginning of every show, which is every Idol, season, the most watched parts are the beginning auditions, right? Because people are really good and people aren't good, and that's
Right.
the really exciting part for the viewers. And so I'm pretty sure they do this, but every year it seems like they have a cameo. Like they'll have a famous person or a football player or celebrity come and audition, and it's kind of like a joke. And maybe they're good or maybe they're not, but it's a really known person. So when I came in, I had a headband, I had a beard, I had a cast on.
I saw that.
Don't
yeah.
drink and skateboard, kids. Don't do it.
Okay, that was my next
Yeah.
question. All right, okay.
Yeah, so that's how that. And I just jammed my thumb into the ground.
Yeah, you killed
You
it
know.
though.
Yeah.
That was almost kind of like a blessing in disguise.
It was. And when I went to the airport, because I had my cast on, I dropped my guitar because I forgot I couldn't hold it. So the guitar broke. So it was a baritone guitar, which I'm like, why did I bring a baritone? Because I was experimenting. I was like, so the capo was actually holding it in place. So it was just a mess, but it actually ended up, sometimes you try harder when things are going wrong.
It adds to it.
It
yes.
adds to the. And so when I came in with the headband and a beard and a cast, and I had kind of hippie look, I think J Lo thought that I was Jimmy Fallon, in a disguise, because he does so many impersonations. So I think she thought that they were trying to pull something on her, that I was someone underneath, and they thought it was funny. And then I ended up after the audition, she's like, "Oh my God, you look like one of Jimmy's impersonations." So she took a selfie with me, and she's like, "I'm going to send it to Jimmy." And then that was that. They never told me they're gonna do the the Jimmy Fallon where he dressed up as me and he did an impersonation.
He did that?
Oh, I don't know. You haven't seen this? Oh, well, we can add it in.
Show
We can add
show
it
me.
in.
Okay, yeah, add it
Yeah.
in for sure.
But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
and then I had actually already gotten home. I was already off the show. It didn't air yet, but I was already home. So, or I don't remember honestly, but it went on, and I was like, oh my god, this is great. It was, I got more views from. That's probably the most recognizable thing, and that went really well. And then I went home after that, and I was like, damn, because I was like, oh man, like they're gonna really like push us, like this is great. And then I went home and during Hollywood Week, and then the next year I shaved and put on a suit and was just like, I give a shit, like I saw this, I want this, like let's do this. And I think also the first time I did it, of course when you get it's time to go home, of course it's like it sucks, you still have a good time, but there's still like a pit in your feeling like, oh man.
Yeah.
And I remember one of my, maybe a roommate or one of the friends on the show was like, man, you did so good your first time. Like, I can't believe you got that far your first time. I'm like, first time? Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, oh man, like there's like lifers here. I'm like, lifers? Like lingo? What are we talking about? And then I started learning like, yeah, there's like people that, this is what they do. They audition for shows or, they were going, oh, the guy that won last year, like he auditioned 4 times. He tried like 4 years in a row and finally got it. And I went like, oh, like, okay, like don't give up, like keep doing it, because I never would have gotten that if I hadn't tried out for The Voice, and I wouldn't have gone farther the second time if I hadn't done it the first time. So
well,
it's just
to your credit, I mean,
Yeah.
to my roommates, my first roommate on American Idol was Caleb Johnson.
Oh,
And-
okay.
Yeah, have you heard of
Yeah.
that guy? So yeah, I mean, I think he didn't make it past Hollywood Week. Maybe he did one round and then got cut. I was like, oh, that sucks. But like he took it really well. I think he came back the next year, got cut, went back the next year and won it. So
Yeah.
it's like that's what happens, you
Yeah,
know. And
exactly.
so I was kind of ready to do that, like that's especially when I went to Austin. I was like, I might get cut. Let me just try out again. And then I think I was very lucky. It was a very lucky first time. And it's funny because a lot of those shows are hitting me up, like The Voice and America's Got Talent and some of those places. And I'm actually trying out for those shows, and I'm not getting as far as I did on Idol.
Yeah.
So it's like, it was almost like this, like, especially after I toured as myself after the American Idol tour. I remember playing at the Bean in Chicago. It was my very first, like, I had just put out my album. And I was like, okay, I'm going on tour as myself in my mom's minivan with some players, Enrique included. And then when I went there, I was like 6 people there. You know what I mean? So like that's another thing. It's good because I feel like you're kind of hustling, going up and up. I had this opposite thing where I was like, I'm on top of everything. Hey, I'm king, and then
Yeah,
no,
well, I
you're
still
not.
have that
You're not
too.
king. You're not.
It you feel like that with the ups and downs. You're like, well, now what do I do? And it's like, well, should I go on a show again? It's like, well, I already did it twice. Like, I already did The Voice,
Right, yeah.
And but I think, yeah, you just got to persevere and then just keep doing it and don't let, because I don't know if you've ever had friends like, oh, don't like try it for another show. Like, you already did it. You don't need to do it. And I'm like, don't tell me what I need to do, man. Like, that's free air.
Yeah.
Ad time. And you can get gifts like on the phone, or you can go to an official tag. Wow. But it is all worth it to go. And at the end of the day, there are no rules. And today with music, there's so much access to everything. So I think you should just go for it with stuff. But yeah, there is a feeling sometimes when you go like, okay, well, I did that. Like, should I keep trying or should I not? And I think it was kind of a blessing for me to get sent home the first time, because I guess if you, I don't know if it was for you, but if you get past Hollywood Week and you get sent home, you can't go back again. There's like a threshold. So like if you get 3rd or 4th place, you can't try out again.
Right, yeah.
But so if you get past Hollywood Week, you don't get to audition for the show. So because I got cut right before the end of Hollywood Week, I got to go again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
So
the
that's
second
kind of-
one
yeah.
was more of a breeze. I feel like the second time, which was really the third time I had, gotten far on a show, because I lived in the hotels for The Voice. And the last time I did it, I was like, okay, I've overthought and I've tried to strategize. This time, I'm just going to try to relax and I'm just going to do my best and I'm going to let whatever happens. And maybe I could have strategized a little bit more with some songs, but I was also like, I'm not going to give myself a heart attack trying to, because when you go in, you definitely want to do your best song, but then you have to think about longevity. Am I going to do my first best 3 songs and then Is
Right.
it not? You know, and or you know, just thinking about songs and overthinking things, and some of it worked. Like I would go, okay, most of the like people here, if they're working with Columbia or Virgin Records, whatever it is, I would try to pick songs that the whatever producers were involved with on the
Smart.
show.
Okay, you did some research.
Because they go, oh well, if that kid plays Shania Twain, like we get paid, but if they sing the Beatles, we don't have that in our catalog. So it's this guy's still good, but if we pick, you know, and I don't even know if that stuff mattered. But
I'm sure it did
you
to
know,
a certain extent.
To a point.
Yeah,
You know.
well, that's awesome. Now, I've forgotten that you did a duet with Haley
I
Reinhardt.
did, yeah.
That's amazing. So
Yeah.
how did that come about? Like, was it like what week was it, and why did they put you?
It
with
was due. So yeah,
I love that week.
Yeah, it was. I got to top 19. It was Doobie Doo night, and no, it was. They were bringing back former winners and former runner-ups and close winners, and they totally picked it. You know,
Okay.
and I was like, sweet. And you know, other people did an amazing jobs. I can't remember the guy's name at the top of my head. The other guy sang Benny and the Jets with her. He did an awesome.
Oh, okay. So
job.
she did other.
Yeah, I think she did too. I think the artist that they brought back did too. Jordan Sparks went there, and for me, it was kind of, I was like, awesome, cool. I get to sing a duet, you know, with an amazing girl, and it's Elvis. I have like a lower voice, so great, you know. And a lot of people that are doing, you know, much harder stuff, and I was like, cool. You're like
chilling, yeah.
I'm kind of chilling, so this was cool, but it was still nervous, you know, because even though a song is simpler. And it's also a specific thing. If you go too much Elvis, it's like this is just an Elvis impersonator, and you know, there's a lot more to mess up because it's very open. And but yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool to meet Haley and work with her, and it was great, especially because you know her single is with even you know that was closer to when it was released, but it was a really successful. You know, she put out a really successful thing, so I was like, great, I get to do that. So
You know, it's crazy. I hate to do this, but look at that.
Oh, I saw that.
I played piano on that. You know.
Oh, nice, man.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? So like that was an amazing moment for me as well,
Yeah.
because it was something that I was a part of.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's like, you know, I'll tell people when it happens, but the fact that I was just able to just be in the room with her doing this like extra gum commercial, and then it just like goes like,
Oh, that's right. It was the Winter Green, or it was a spearmint. There was a gum commercial for
it was I just said it. Oh, what's it called?
Winter Green.
No. Extra
Extra.
gum, yeah. But yeah, no, it was a part of a cool ad campaign, and it was really cool to hear, you know. But that was the thing. It's like I'm a bass player, but I don't need to be known as a piano player, and here I am playing piano.
Yeah,
and
the thing you get.
Yeah, but so anyway, it was really cool to see you doing that, and were you playing guitar on that? I forget.
No,
okay.
just singing. And even what's great with that is, you know, so thank you, Haley, for doing that. But also, what's really been great for me is because now that's also like a big video that people have seen, you know, because it's attached to Haley.
You with Haley, yeah.
But then also when I get hired to do like weddings and stuff, people hear that and they want to do it, and I love to do the song. But also, that means I don't have to learn, you know, some song I'm not comfortable with. They hear that and like they want that, and it's like cool. Like, yeah, of course I can do.
That's so nice.
Can do that.
Music
know?
Music is great.
Because you know how it is. Sometimes you do a gig and they want you to do these specific songs, and then you're like, oh, like I don't want to do this song, and then you do the song, and then you like it, and then it becomes part of your repertoire. But there's always this kind of like, oh, can you do like 3 hours of yacht rock? Like, yeah. And then you're like, well, let's
why did I
say that? But then you end up knowing a bunch of Hall & Oates songs. And...
Exactly. It's good. I mean, Scott Bradley from Postmodern Jukebox, the CEO, and he was like, I want you to sing Umbrella with these tap dancers. Yeah. And I was like, and I remember I was like, I don't really like that song. And I'm so bad with lyrics. I learned it. I had the paper and the marker of the lyrics in there, and I barely got through it. But now I know it by heart, and I play it for my own.
And now
gigs.
it's one of your.
I love it. I love doing it, and people are like, "Is that an upright bass and Rihanna at the same time?" So it's like now I get it. It makes sense to do that kind of stuff. Have you worked with Haley afterwards?
No, I don't. Have I jammed or sat in before? No, I checked out one of her concerts shortly after, and I think I've ran into her a couple times at a house party after.
Oh, okay.
Or so yeah, some mutual friend. I went to high school with her or something.
Sweet.
But no, I think I've just seen some of her shows, but I haven't recorded or anything.
Oh, okay.
You know,
one of these days, yeah.
Yeah, one of these days.
What's the nicest compliment anyone's ever given you?
Ooh, the nicest compliment anyone's ever given me. Ooh. Good question. None. I've never received a compliment in my life.
That's so funny. I asked Olivia Cooper Harris the same thing, and she was just like, there are so many compliments. I don't know. You did the exact opposite.
Yeah. No, it's like, what do you say? They say I'm the best.
I know. This is your moment. I give you
simply the best. They're like, that wasn't the best that he just did. What is that?
Yeah. In fact, I revoked the question.
Yeah.
No, this is your opportunity.
It's a good question. A best compliment I've received. I think people say
Don't be shy.
Yeah, don't be shy. Yeah, I mean, it's like, how do you say something like, oh, people say I'm really good. But I think maybe about my songwriting or perseverance, or maybe having like an old school music mentality about just maybe my mentality or perseverance. Like, I really just believe in I believe in loving playing music. I believe in keeping things positive and like truly enjoying what you're doing. So maybe I would say the most compliments that I appreciate the most, I think, when other musicians are happy and grateful that I can find work for them. I think that's what truly makes me feel fulfilled. When I can book a gig and get everyone paid, some bigger enchiladas than usual. That's like, I think for me, that's a good feeling to be like, yeah, we're doing this. We're making a living. This is, I think for me, that's a great thing. And also, nice. I think the biggest compliment any musician can make, I think, as cheesy as it sounds, or not cheesy at all, I think is like touching people's hearts, because we do it all the time and sometimes you can forget, but man, if you can make someone cry, and whether it's a funeral or a wedding or someone's anniversary, or you're just playing at a bar on a Thursday night, but you play someone's, their father-daughter's dance song or something, and it really touches them, and they truly enjoy it. I think that's probably like, what more can we do? So I think that to me would be the biggest compliment, I think, is if you can play someone and someone can say like, oh, that was the last song I heard with my father before he passed, or that was their favorite song. I think, that's probably like top tier, I would say, where you're like, wow, like you get to touch people with your music, and we're doing what we're supposed to be doing,
That's beautiful. Nice. And then who's the nicest celebrity? The
nicest celebrity in the idol world or in general?
In general.
I guess it depends if you bother them if they're eating or not. I'll say Ryan Seacrest is super cool guy, and he's such a cool guy on camera. Also, I was super impressed with how well that guy can memorize stuff. They'd give him like 3 pages, like, can you memorize this? Yeah. Oh, we need to change this. Okay. And he just says it in front of, 100 people and just gets it. But he really was a super cool person. And obviously, when you're filming this show, you're not supposed to schmooze with the judges, but you can schmooze with Ryan. And same guy off camera, really cool dude. He had a cool dog, I remember. And I like dogs. So his dog was the best. No, but and then people would ask like, oh, is he really like that? Is he like a jerk? I'm like, no, dude, he's like the nicest guy ever. Like, oh, like there's some secret that it's like, no, he's really approachable, really smart, and that's probably why he gets that work, because he can remember stuff like a motherfucker. Oh, mother effer. Sorry.
Yeah. We're gonna bleep this. How dare you?
Bleep it.
This is a family show. How dare you?
Sorry, kids, don't do it.
Yep, good. No drugs, no drinking and skateboarding, and no swearing on my podcast.
My life
dare
would be
you?
so different. But let's see. The nicest, who I think was the most approachable, that made me feel the most comfortable, I think was, Derek Trucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Derek Trucks was the most, for me, it was like the least amount of nervousness meeting him. I felt like it was just my brother's older friend, like coming over to hang or something. It wasn't like, oh my God, it's like John Mayer, it's Shania Twain, or I've said her twice. I don't know why. I don't really listen to country, but country music's great. I like Chris Stapleton, just saying things. But he just had a very like cool, calm, thing where I felt very like relaxed. I've met last year, the year before, I got to meet Don Henley. Don Felder from the Eagles,
Don Henley's the one from the Eagles.
Yeah, isn't also Don Felder too?
Oh, there's 2 Dons.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think so. Well, one of the guys. Yeah,
but the
point is, sometimes when you meet these great people and they used to be in bands and stuff, it's, I go like, oh, maybe I should tell them I love this song or I love this song. But then it's like, what if they didn't write that song? What if they hate the guy from 30 years that wrote the song? And I don't,
Right.
so, I start thinking in my head, you start overthinking, like, don't bother them. Don't say too much or be yourself. So I think, yeah, Derek Trucks was really nice. My uncle's very nice.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know.
for sure.
Very, and also sometimes you got to be not nice. He's always been cool, but I've also learned, I don't know if you've experienced this, like sometimes you go like, oh, that person is such a diva, or I've heard they're a jerk. But I've also experienced one time where I kind of became a diva for a day. And
Okay.
I learned a lot of like, oh, maybe that's why, if you hear that Beyonce or J-Lo or Mariah Carey like flipped out on someone, they were probably really hungry and they were filming for 12 hours and someone didn't get their food order, and that's what happened to me. So but it was a learning experience where I was doing a thing on PBS where I was hosting and it was out of Riverside PBS.
Yeah.
So it was called Music College and it was a lot of fun. But there was one day, where we had to, film a bunch of bands and I interview them and it was great. And they're going, I'm also type 1 diabetic. I got diabetes. And so I'm a little like, I want to get my juice or have food around. I just want to know that I have
That makes
stuff.
sense for you to be
Yeah.
a little bit more
Yeah.
diva-ish. You
And I
have to,
can't
yeah.
leave the set because, they need me to film and there's only so much time. They rented the place. So they're like, hey, what do you want to eat? And I was like, I just don't want anything with raw onions or pickles. Like I'll eat anything. I just don't like pickles and I don't like raw onions. So they come back, I'm tired, I'm hungry. And the guys come back with nothing but sandwiches with like pickles and raw onions. And then I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to go to McDonald's. Like, well, you can't go to McDonald's because we have to film. And I'm like, no, I'm going to McDonald's. And it was this whole thing about like, he's going to McDonald's. And then I kind of learned like, okay, so, maybe sometimes give people some grace, or maybe there's because sometimes when you're in a situation where you're supposed to sing, you're supposed to play, the focus is on you. And then someone can do something to mess you up. Like, I don't know if you have any prerequisites about singing on stage, like in your writer, like one thing I always go, I want reverb on my guitar. I want reverb on my vocals. I want it in the monitor. I want it on stage. If you can't do it, that's fine. Just let me know and I can bring my own little pedal or I can bring a pre-mixer, but, I don't want to sing dry, that's just what I
Right.
do. And
Okay.
then like they don't do it or they like purposely don't want to give you reverb. And then like my vessel is going like, be nice to the sound man, be nice to the sound man. It's just a gig.
Right.
But, like for example, like the Disneyland Ballroom, I do an event there once a year usually. And it's fun, but I don't know what it is about the Disneyland Ballroom, but they don't want to give you reverb. Maybe they'll put it in the house, but not on stage. So if you get in situations like that, but it's always a learning experience. Like, okay, be nice, be calm. Like, it's not going to help anything to,
Right,
he's not
yeah.
going to do a better job if you start.
But it's good you can see both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah,
there was
spectrum.
one. I don't think I've ever had a freak out moment, but there was a time where I remember it was right after the American Idol show,
Mm-hmm.
on our American Idol tour in 2011, right after our show, and I remember I was walking with a girl that I knew, and I walked outside, and I'd already done a meet and greet like 3 times that day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, I'm really tired. Let's get out here. And I walked out a door, and then everyone turned around. There's a big crowd of people with like autograph books and cameras, and they're like, oh my God, it's one of the guys. It's that guy. And so they came over, and I was like, what am I gonna do? Like, I think I should. I love taking pictures, but I was really tired.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go back here, and I opened the door, and the security guard said, you can't come back in. I was like, what? Do you see, like, I know I didn't have my credentials or anything.
Yeah.
Actually, I did. And I showed my credentials. It's like, sorry, this is exit only. And I was like, do you see what's happening here? And so I got a little upset. That's probably the most time I've ever been upset.
Yeah.
But, but I can see it from their perspective. But, so it's that balance. It is that
Yeah.
balance. But, yeah. Anyway, on that note, let's jam. Reverb?
Like, get away from there. Don't touch it.
Don't you dare.
Don't touch it.
Nice try.
Oh, here's the sound guy again. Not wanting to give me reverb. It's a conspiracy.
All right.
Cool. Are we filming?
Yep.
All right. Let's. And then, do you want to do? There's like the Jose Feliciano version where he just goes A G to F, It doesn't do the C thing. Or we could just do the same progression. We'll just play. We'll just see what happens. Okay. All the leaves are brown and the sky is gray. I've been for a walk on a winter's day. I'll be safe and warm if I was in LA. California dreaming, such a winter's day. I walked into a church, I passed along the way. I got down on my knees, I began to pray. Blocks the cold. He knows I'm gonna stay. California dreaming, such a winter's day. All the leaves are brown and the sky is gray. I'm there for a walk on a winter's day. Give it a little minor major seventh at the end. Awesome, man. Fun jamming, dude.
Awesome.
That was great.
Good jamming, man. Wow.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
That was really good.
And thank you for listening.
Yes.
Follow
Now,
your dreams.
follow
Be
your dreams,
kind.
Be kind. Play guitar. Grow your nails out.
Yes, on one hand, but not too long.
We are idols.